Welcome 5th grade social studies teachers to another Passport to Social Studies video. My name is Mr. Giordano and I'm the virtual content specialist for 5th grade social studies. Today, we'll be looking at our Unit 2 Day 7 lesson. This lesson is titled The French Explorers, the Benefits and Consequences of French Exploration. This is a 2-day lesson. Today we are focusing on our Day 1. Our focus question for this lesson is: in what ways were people affected by the establishment of colonies in the Western Hemisphere? And our learning objective is to investigate the reasons the French established colonies in the Western Hemisphere, the benefits and consequences of colonization, and the effects on native inhabitants. For today, we'll be looking at our Part 1 video. This video will focus on the student task overview. So today, each group in your in-person or remote classroom will be conducting research related to French exploration. Ultimately, they will be using their research to create posters or infographics answering the prompt: did the presence of French explorers result in beneficial or negative consequences for the New World? Students also must have a clear point of view or perspective from which they are answering the guiding question. As students research, they should be focusing in on the following concepts: motivations of the French to explore the Western Hemisphere, including religious, political, economic, and individual motivations; the locations in the Western Hemisphere where the French settled and established colonies; the positive and negative results of French colonization of the Western Hemisphere; and the interactions between native inhabitants and the French. Today, we will be reviewing a note taker that you may wish to use with your students to help them stay on task as they review each source in their groups. This note taker will be aligned to the bulleted concepts presented in the left column on the slide. You may create a copy of this note taker for yourself below. When creating copies for your class, be sure to make a new copy for each group and to turn the shared settings to all users can edit this document. This will ensure that all students can type simultaneously on their group's document. So let's take a look at the note taker. When you press this link, you'll be asked to make a copy for yourself of the French Explorer Research Project. Once you make a copy, you'll see the template presented to you on the screen. This template's been filled out already for Group A and for the specific Group A sources. However, you can delete this out and then insert the Group B or the Group C resources into this document. So for students, what they would do first in this note taker is they would each write their names below this red box. Then they'll each pick a color for their typing. So for example, the teacher is red. Another student might make their color blue or green. This will allow you as the teacher to see which students are really heavily participating in the research phase of this project and which students are really leading the group in the actual conducting of the research and which students might need some support in completing this. It also helps the students stay organized in terms of their contributions to the graphic organizer or the note taker presented below. So you see in the note taker, there's the sources presented that the students will take a look at, and this you'll copy and paste right in from the Passport to Social Studies slides for Group A, for Group B, and for Group C. And again, each group will get their own copy of this Google Doc. You want to make sure that the shared settings are on all students can edit. That way, the students in that group can each contribute to the Google Doc. So as the students take a look at the three sources that they have, they'll be zeroing in on these four concepts: the motivations, the locations, the positive and negative results, and the interactions. They'll be able to type into the chart, taking notes and recording their findings, their ideas related to the topic. And again, they'll each have a different color for their writing, so it'll be very clear which students are contributing and which students might need some support in contributing to the group work project. As they scroll down, they'll come to the final question for this assignment, which is: based on your research above, did the presence of French explorers result in beneficial or negative consequences for the New World? And again, just a reminder for the students that they must establish from whose point of view they will be answering the question from. And so this next part really forces them to actually take a look at that and make sure that they're selecting whether they're going to answer this question from a beneficial consequences point of view or negative consequences point of view. And then the students are going to share their brainstorming, their findings, that they're then going to relate it to this question that they then can use to create their poster or their infographic. So this note taker really helps the students stay focused, stay on task, and share their ideas collaboratively while they're looking at these different sources, whether it be in person or remotely in breakout rooms. So when you go into the Passport to Social Studies lesson, you'll see that the slide is currently set up in this way, where you'll see Group A, Group B, and Group C. And again, the different sources that they'll look at, the 3 for each group. To make this a little bit easier for students, my suggestion would be to just format the slide a little bit differently and just have it color-coded, where Group A might be the red group, Group B is green, Group C is blue, or a different color, just so that they can see which sources are for their group. And then insert the link right into the slide for the students so they know which link to click on for their specific group. So the links that you create of that note taker, the Group A link, you would want to paste that here. The Group B link, you would want to paste that here. And the Group C link, you would want to paste that here. That way students can go straight into their note taker and begin to actually dive into their sources and record their findings. That will then allow them to answer the prompt for their poster or infographic. Okay, everyone, thank you for joining me today to learn more about utilizing this research note taker to really enhance the group work in your classroom and help your students stay focused on the task at hand. I will see you for part 2 of this video series. Thank you and have a great day.